We're only weeks away from E3, and anticipation for Nintendo's upcoming system, the Wii U, is at an all-time high. Now, although Nintendo revealed it at last year's E3, they've been completely silent in the years since. And when that happens, the rumor mill starts churning. And many of these center around the Wii U's unique tablet-like controller itself, teasing of an upgraded form factor and additional abilities. But thanks to the loose Twitter account of a QA tester for TT Games, it seems we may finally have a look at what might be the final Wii U controller. So we thought we'd take an in-depth look at the controller and see what all's changed and what further secrets we might be able to uncover. Now, the change that everyone seems to be noticing first is that the circle pads from last year's model have been changed to full-on analog control sticks. This brings it in line with every Nintendo console to date, with one noticeable difference. In taking a cue from the 3DS, the analog sticks no longer have the 8-way directional shell surrounding them that every other Nintendo console has had to date. It's a very small change that might make things like camera control a little bit smoother, but it might come at the expense of accuracy for games based on discrete movement, such as platformers. That aside, using analog sticks hints at one additional feature new to Nintendo consoles: clickable sticks, like on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Though granted, this image alone doesn't prove that. When you take this change and combine it with recent comments from Gearbox president Randy Pitchfork that the Wii U controller is the best controller for shooters Nintendo's ever made, it strongly suggests Nintendo's pulling out all the stops, which means GameCube-style analog triggers might be back too. Now, the other thing about the analog sticks is that they've been pushed further outward so that they're no longer directly above the control pad and face buttons. This likely will lend it a more ergonomic feel, as the layout is similar to other controllers, except that the right analog stick and face buttons have swapped positions. As a result of this change, Nintendo has had to widen the controller itself, which might make it a little more difficult to reach a touchscreen with your thumbs. Moving on, the plus and minus buttons have been relocated from bordering the home button to just beneath the face buttons. This will ensure you can reach them without having to move your hand, which should allow developers even more options during gameplay. And speaking of the home button, it appears that the ring surrounding it might light up, similar to the Xbox 360 controller. If this is the case, it might be used like the 3DS's indicator light showing when you have new messages or game updates. Another option is if you're using multiple tablet controllers, a specific quadrant of the ring might light up indicating which player you are, similar to the Xbox 360. Granted, this is a bit of a stretch as Nintendo hasn't confirmed that you can use more than one tablet controller at a time. But since there's no player indicator on the controller itself, unlike the Wii Remote, it might be our only hope for multiple tablet support. Now, while I've been jabbering on and on, you may have noticed two mysterious squares that blend in with the controller. We think the one on the right might be a sync button wirelessly connected to your console, given its proximity to the battery status light and power button. But then what's the one on the left for? Some have proposed it might be a marker of where to scan objects using the built-in NFC technology, but the Rayman Origins trailer that leaked out a few weeks ago suggested that the feature is built into the screen itself. Another theory is that it's a small laptop-like trackpad as seen in some smartphones. This could allow for some pretty precise input and may be Nintendo's solution to the touchscreen being hard to reach. Finally, some have theorized there's a biosensor to detect things like your heartbeat, similar to what Nintendo had planned with the announced but never released Wii Vitality sensor. It's probably a stretch, but really anything goes at this point. One of the last things we noticed is that one of the cables coming out at the top of the controller appears to be identical to the charging cable for the 3DS. This simply suggests that you might be able to use the same cable to charge your controller as your handheld, similar to how the Virtual Boy used the Super Nintendo's power cable. Okay, we're almost done here, but this last item might be the most disappointing to some of you. The final change to the controller is the addition of the Wii U logo itself, which simply suggests that contrary to tons of rumors, the name and logo probably aren't going to change. And that wraps up our analysis of the Wii U controller. And luckily, it won't be long until we find out how right or wrong we were, and what are the secrets the controller might be hiding, as E3 is just around the corner. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain.com for more on the Wii U and everything gaming.